So, joining this century, the sermon is on the tablet. We'll see how this goes. What's that?
Moses had
That's right. Does that make this commandment? All right. Well, within each of us, there are many, many voices. Always a diversity. And the human condition is just too complex to allow for any internal unity except in the most rare and sometimes extreme circumstances. Perhaps such unity, the unification of the voices within, is to be hoped for. Though truth be told, in some we should dread it. Should we find our own self united and whole for any space of time, let us pray that we do it well and in love. Within each of us, there are many voices. Sometimes they compete with one another, and our lives become a hurried response to the voice that is yelling the loudest. And then the next, which yells louder still. And then the next. Sometimes these voices within us not only compete with one another, sometimes they oppose one another. Blind to their common source and ultimate purpose, they coalesce ego unto themselves, and we are ripped in two or hurled from one myopia to the next, bouncing between worlds, bruised and bruising. Within each of us, there are many voices. The best we can hope for, and it's no mean feat, the best we can hope for is a harmony of these, a choir in tune with the internal key and with reality. I say this is best because it is satisfying and clear and moving, and also because it is sustainable, allowing even for an occasional dissonance of perspective. Within each of us, there are many voices. Within our bodies. And so too within this body, the gathered body that is the church. Here are many voices, and today we will listen to some of them. Earlier in the week, I solicited the congregation for brief but meaningful thoughts in prose or poem. Interestingly, some of these form themselves into loose themes. Loose themes. And Steven and I will read you your musings. We're not going to attribute them, even if they were quotes from another source. We may find a way to attribute them later. But the way I see it and the way that I want to play with it today is to consider that each submission is one that, whether created or come upon, resonates with you in such a way that it can be said to speak for you. And then because you are here, I'm going to expand the sense of you so that it includes the sense of us. So now, you means you. And because of that, I imagine that as you listen, you will hear yourself, whether you particularly submitted material or not, whether what you are hearing was your offering or someone else's initially. Sometimes it seems what is at last needed is not to strive for harmony, but to recognize that harmony is already happening. And so, Here you are.
A wee small whirlwind stirs up a spiral of leaves, otherwise unseen.
An upheaval is wrought deep within molten core, slowly taking form, steadily thrusting upward as manifest creation.
We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience.
We share a history, not a memory.
Some things are more beautiful from far away. It may be the same with things divine. Sometimes beauty is the thing that keeps you far away. You may not know it when you are it.
To be is to do.
Beauty by
Moses never had to contend with that.
beauty by windshield stirs imagination, but footprints leave no trace.
Some for the glories of this world, and some sigh for the prophet's paradise to come. Take the cash and let the credit go, nor heed the rumble of distant drum.
People are like stained glass windows. They sparkle and shine when the sun is out, but when the darkness sets in, their true beauty is revealed only if there's a light from within.
Want what you have, do what you can. Be who you are.
Winter shrub asleep, sparrows cluster aflutter, bare branches blossom.
Don't just do something, stand there.
Barn swallows take flight, and soars and swoops, creating aerial ballet.
Lullaby by tide, submarine we will ride, down deep to the moon.
Religion is for people afraid of going to hell. Spirituality is for people who have already been there.
When you lose, don't lose the lesson.
The cool breeze gently blows, drawing heat from my body, but not the anguish from my soul.
I am the abbess in the abbey of my soul. Self-contained am I.
I am the abbess in the heart of my beloved. One with love am I.
I am the abbess in the beauty of the world, blessing it and free.
I am the abbess in the pain of all my days. Poor am I in need.
I am the abbess in the desert of my life, wandering and lost.
I am the abbess with the call for my return, self-renewed am I.
Life is good. Believe it. Especially considering the alternative. Believe it. Life is good.
How wonderful to wake to another day of gray rain.
Time like a river, snowmelt from mountains flowing to the ocean.
Clouds from the ocean, snowing on the mountains. Time begins again.
Long, long summer days, embraced by our northwest home. Dark days, not so much.
Tucson, we love you. Grand mountain hikes in winter, monsoon, still unknown.
Worship summer rain, it gives our desert new life and renews our souls.
Warm breezes carry scent of desert rain. Possibilities. Dark clouds gather, contrasting brilliant blue sky. Ah. Lightning strike. Excites. Count the silence. 1, 2, 3. Thunder rumbles as it rolls. Anticipation. Kaboom. Gloriously satisfied.
Life is good. With or without rain. With or without snow. Life is good.
The sun is shining. I put on my hiking boots. I am young again.
Joy murmurs close by. My little one's breath cadence. Chewing bananas.
Ron Phares is back. Honeymoon now is over. More love is back here.
I didn't write that. Maybe true. Be kind whenever possible. It is always possible.
Radiant hummers, wings thrum amid flits and floats. Warily dare sit.
I felt as though the late 1960s and 70s paralleled the original Reconstruction period after the Civil War for increased opportunities and advancement for African Americans. It now feels as though the climax of the second Reconstruction period was the election of Barack Obama, as aggressive efforts have since been launched. Mass incarceration, cutbacks in voting rights, rollbacks of rights for women, increased state rights, increased poverty levels, erosion of good free public education, etc., to turn the clock back.
Fear for accomplice. His stories pulled the trigger. Caskets for black men.
Body struggles. Mind is connected. Will is stronger.
Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom.
And so live in the space between stimulus and response. Relax. Breathe. respond from your center.
Harmony in speech. Harmony in song. Harmony in relationships equals harmony in life.
I arise in the morning, torn between the desire to improve the world and a desire to enjoy the world. This makes it hard to plan the day.
Changed mind, like old woman. Stopped raining, sun shining, so decided to go.
After a time, you may find that having is not so pleasing a thing, after all, as wanting. It is not logical, but it is often true.
The computer's hum reassures and reminds me I am not alone.
Seeking truth, meaning, we come to a consensus. Social actions happen.
Mythic heroes shine to show the way to freedom. Of course, the hero dies.
MVUU rings in my dreams, and when awake, community is.
It was not expected. Unknown to me was my search. Welcome the stranger.
So this last one came with a brief note of context, as actually many of yours did. But this one seemed to me a fitting close, and the context makes it more so. I'll read you what the writer added. I have quietly slipped into Sunday services over the last few months. Recovering Catholic who has not been associated with any church during my adult life. But I keep coming back because I have been made to feel welcome. So I imagine that in addition to being embraced by such an amiable, funny, earnest, and good-looking lot such as you are, the writer heard at this place some voices in harmony with the voices within. I imagine, too, that this is true for most, if not all, who call this their congregation. I imagine this is true with you and with you. And I hope this morning proves a witness to that truth. Within each of us, there are many voices. Also within all of